I always love when I receive the physical copy of my work in the mail. After doing the work of writing, editing, formatting, cover designing, and finally publishing and marketing, it is so rewarding to finally have the finished product. I have a whole shelf of my bookcase dedicated to displaying my own books now, and it's always so encouraging to see them all together. Over the last few months, I have published the final 2 books in my debut series, Daughter of Steel and Strife and Son of Prejudice and Pride. It took me just over a year to write and publish all 5 of them. I also always make sure to formally copyright my books just to be safe. Not long after I published the first book, I found someone had pirated it and uploaded it to a free book downloading site, which gave some BS communist excuse about making information free for everyone. Apparently, information includes fantasy romance with werewolves. But I digress. I think the most important lesson I have learned from self-publishing my books is that you can't please everyone. No matter how polished your writing and how engaging your story, some people will simply not like it. And that's often more a reflection of the person's personal tastes than of the actual quality of your book. This is why cold DMing people on Bookstagram and asking them to read my book in exchange for a review was such a mistake. Your book may not be their cup of tea, and then you are stuck with a subpar review that is never going away, unfortunately. But for every negative review, there will be 10 positive ones. The key is to simply accept that not everyone will like your work, and that is okay. You can learn from any valid critiques of your work, but it's important not to let their words weigh you down. After all, you will improve with every chapter you write. And as you can see here, I clearly caved into Instagram advertising and bought a custom page embosser. I was very excited to try it out, and I love how my seal looks. If I do eventually get the infrastructure up to offer signed copies and merch on my website, then I would love to emboss the signed page of my book with my seal, as well as using it to emboss stickers on the packaging. Recently, I went on a little day trip to the flower fields in Carlsbad, and of course, I had to bring my most recent release along for a photo shoot. This is actually where I took my author profile picture around the same time last year, not long after I had published my debut novel, The Werewolf's Mask. One of my favorite parts of this place was the sweet pea maze. I just love getting lost in it. I have decided to simply write the kind of book that I would enjoy reading. And while I do periodic advertising, for the most part, I am letting the readers come to me now. But you would not believe the number of DMs I get from book reviewers wanting both a free copy of my book and to be paid anywhere from $10 to $50 just to post their review to an audience of mostly bot followers. But I suppose you would get a similar response in your DMs to just about any business you tried to start online. Another important lesson I learned is that, especially as a new author without an already existing audience, I needed to keep my expectations realistic. I was willing to lose money in order to get my book ready to publish and to advertise it in email newsletters to get more eyeballs on my work. I periodically set the first book in my series to free, which really helped me get those initial reviews on Amazon. And if the readers enjoyed it, they would sometimes go on to pre-order the next book in the series, which I always made sure to link in the back of the ebook. Now that the entire series is published, this has been an effective marketing strategy, especially when someone prefers to binge read the entire series over waiting for the next book to be published. The Kindle Unlimited program has also been great for me as a new author. Those who subscribe can read tons of books at no additional cost, and the authors get paid a certain amount per page read, even though it's not a ton. So even though that does mean my books are exclusive to Amazon, I feel that the trade-off has been worth it thanks to the Kindle Unlimited program. Of course, it goes without saying that I have also learned a lot of new skills in my publishing journey. I researched and learned all about the many steps involved in not only producing, but also publishing and marketing my books. I had to learn how to format my books, how to design the covers, either myself or working with a designer, creating the interior illustrations, buying ISBNs and barcodes, copywriting the books, and of course, marketing the books through primarily SEO and email newsletters. And the most important thing I have learned is about changing my mindset. Although it is possible for some authors to have their debut novel become a bestseller and launch their careers overnight, that is usually a rare exception. For most authors, it takes many books before their hard work is rewarded, if it ever is at all. For example, Rebecca Yarros published around 20 books before Fourth Wing really took off, especially on Bookstagram. When you think of it like that, it does take some of the pressure off. Therefore, I have learned to think of my author career as a long-term game. While I can always hope that the next book or the next marketing promotion will be the one that results in my royalties replacing my job income, I will keep my expectations low and continue working hard. I know that over time, as I improve my skills and increase my backlist of books, I will naturally be able to gather more readers who enjoy my work. Now that my debut series is complete, I am working on a series that is the antithesis of Disney's Wish, where the good king who grants his people's wishes must protect himself and his kingdom from the forces who want to steal that power for themselves. I had fun adding witches, druid elves, and new magic systems to this world. I also recently painted the cover art for it, and I'd love to get your thoughts on it. What do you think? I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, but I always like getting feedback from other people. I'm thinking this new story will either span 2 or 3 books, with a possible spin-off and maybe a coloring book at the end for good measure. After that, there may or may not be a mermaid, then fae, then villainous Romeo and Juliet in the works. I am simply happy to get my stories out into the world and contribute to the pool of stories that are floating around on the internet. Hopefully, by the time I too join the stars, I will have published at least half of the stories in my head. Anyways, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.